From the parliamentary side of things for the elections, let's head now onto the campaign trail. Let's see what the candidates for the presidential race are doing today. We can begin from the camp of the MPP. The flag bearer Akuffo Addo has just arrived in Kumasi as he begins his tour of the Ashanti region. We can speak to Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko. He's been following him today. Erastus, good afternoon to you. Where's Nana been to as he begins his tour? Erastus, can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I'm asking about what Nana Akuffo Addo has been up to today in Kumasi. Erastus, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Francis.
I'm asking what's happening on the campaign trail of the MPP flag bearer.
Well, I must say that it has been a tumultuous welcome to the flag bearer of the NPP so far. When he touched down at the airport, he went straight to Agric from Mwase, where he addressed a mini rally there. And then he came to Chedie, where he met 58 seats of the Ashuma Panguma constituency. And then I'm saying that he received endorsements from the chief. In fact, Nanaya Owusu, who is in Pabuahine for 2-4, stood up and then asked all the chiefs that, as they have done by tradition, voting for the NPP all these years, they are going to repeat that. And so, if they will agree with him, they should applaud in favor of that. And all the chiefs clapped in favor of voting for Nana Addo Akuffo Addo. So that was an endorsement, but they asked him that when he assumes mantle of the power, he should remember them, work on their deplorable roles for them, to which Nana Addo also promised in that direction. So far, it's been, let me say, a great welcome for him in his own stronghold, where people have lined up the streets in all the areas that we've gone. Currently, we are at Ashuma, where he's heading towards the next town.
All right. Thank you, Erastus. And just a quick word. What has been the message of Nana Addo as he's been to these communities beyond the endorsements? What's he been saying? Okay, I think we've lost Erastus there. Ivy is also in the Volta region. Ivy Sensoji is our correspondent following President John Mahama in the Volta region as he continues his tour of that region. Ivy, good afternoon to you. We know that he's been down south, gone up north. Where is he now? What has he been talking about? Ivy, can you hear me?
Especially with the road. And so I don't want to read through and say we're working on this road, we're working on that road. The people who came and took my hand a Thursday. And he said,
well, it seems it's actually the president addressing some people in the Volta region. We'll try and raise Ivy back on the line and get some more details on what the president has been speaking about today. Remember, he's been in the Volta region for the past 3 days. Today's day 3 of his tour of that region. He's spending 5 days there. He will wrap up by Friday. We'll get some more updates on that in just a moment. But speaking of the camps and what's been happening on that campaign trail, the flag bearer of the CPP, Ivor Kobna Green Street, says there's no need for any change in Ghana, but that the country should go back for what Kwame Nkrumah started for us. The flag bearer, who was on PM Express on Joy News and Multi TV last night, said it is important for Ghanaians to vote the CPP to see the changes they need.
And I go back, I don't want to go back to the days of Kwame Nkrumah, but just before he was overthrown, for goodness sake, we were 95% there of building our gold refinery, you know, in Takwa, okay? So we even built Tema Oil Refinery at that time with this expansive and great vision that that leader had. And so it tells you that it's about leadership, it's about courage, it's about determination. With the situation that we find ourselves in, where we're struggling to make ends meet. That's why governors are having all these difficulties all the time with this strike or this complaint or that complaint or this problem or that problem. I mean, that's not going to be any different with the NPP, because if the NPP came into office, which is why we're not in favor of our rise for change, we're in favor of our change, which is a Sankofa change, to go back and pick those values and those principles which will give us different results as a nation. One of the key things, Convention People's Party represents and has a foundation of the African personality. And you all know what Dr. Kwame Nkrumah represents in that respect. And I know what I've been listening to your comments over a long period of time in that regard. And so, and that means looking within for your solutions, not always looking far into the distance where it's cloudy and nebulous, thinking the answer will come from there, when the answer is right here. I think that the first thing that I would have to say is that when I heard the news that so many, hard-working, dedicated people who represent parties and themselves as individuals in their desire to serve the nation, just like myself and others, were, not allowed to participate in the process through differing reasons according to what we have heard. I don't know the details of whether clerical errors or fraudulence and signatures and double signatures. I have to say I felt so bad about it because I've known some of them for quite some time, and I know how I would have felt if it had been me. And if your neighbor's house is on fire, I don't think you say, okay, I'm okay, and therefore there by the grace of God go I. Because even the first thing, not to digress, the first issue that we had with it was the size of these fees we had to pay. And particularly the lack of notice and the speed with which it jumped. Because you remember 2008, to be a parliamentary candidate, 500 Ghana cedis. 2012, 1,000 Ghana cedis. So even that was a 100% jump. So we were thinking in our own internal budget, okay, maybe another 100% jump. So 2,000 per parliamentary candidate. Just imagine how we felt when it went straight to 10,000. So we were, entirely.
How many parliamentary candidates?
222. Whoa. 200, and it was reduced. I had 260 candidates. As you rightly said, certainly the People's National Convention has stated its commitment to being Nkrumahist. The PPP, led by Dr. Apakwesi Indom, who was formerly with us, I think they have been more clear to state that they are not Nkrumahist, but clearly they broke away. So there must be some parts of them that still have a connection with us. And we were in discussions even before, earlier in the year, about how we could all coalesce, as it were, even though that didn't materialize. But in the current situation we find ourselves in, it is for me to even remotely consider or to say now that I would go to my father, Dr. Edwin Mahama, or Bernard Mona, or to my brother Henry Latte, or to Dr. Indum, or to me, so soon, and I think that they've been so hurt to have spent all this money and done all this work and have all this desire to good things for the country, taken away from them. It is almost like me going to, the house of somebody who has just lost their husband, and immediately the first day I start telling her that, then also exhaust these court matters they've taken. We don't know which way.